Hey guys, so I want you to pay attention really closely here for a minute. Now, you can see this is rubbing right here. You can hear it. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. I'm going to have the torch on so that you can see this. Now, if you look, you'll notice it is rubbing. Okay? So the trick is to adjust this over just enough that it's perfectly centered in between the two of these is what you want with this setup. Perfectly centered. So now that I have that roughly in position, I'm going to turn that Allen key on this side until it just barely takes up a little bit of play so that I can adjust the other one without this one moving much. Now, I'm going to look right into here and I'm going to spin my tire. Is the rubbing better? Or is it worse? You got to listen for it. Now, while you're doing this, do be careful, guys, and keep your fingers out of there. I actually whacked myself good there. As you can see, I almost cut my finger right off because these are sharp, sharp, sharp. And it fits perfectly into one of these. Go figure. Why? Because that's how I did it. I got my finger in there while I was adjusting the front disc. In fact, I was filming it. Now listen to that. A little bit better. And if you come back here and you look, you can see it needs to go out a little bit. So I'm going to adjust it out a little bit from the rim, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, we have it successfully adjusted now. I was right. I just had to move that other one over just a tiny bit. But this is how you do it, guys. First, you adjust one. You slightly snug it to hold it in place, and now you adjust the other one. Now it's perfect. So I've already done the front, and unfortunately, my camera's been really screwy lately, guys. And because it has, I have two separate videos of me doing the front and the back, and I may in fact put them out that way. Now, one of the things I actually recommend is that you keep this spinning while you tighten this. And the reason is, sorry about that, you keep this spinning while you tighten it. And the reason is, guys, if you screw it up and over tighten, you'll hear it. If this moves in any way, it won't be perfectly aligned anymore, and you'll hear it. The tire will slow down noticeably. And that is what you're listening for, the sound of it slowing down and rubbing. I didn't hear any of that. This is perfect. So now, I'm going to walk you around to my front, and I'll show you that. So now, you can see that one still spinning away. And now you look at this one. Now this one is actually a lot easier to sight, because you can come around here and look here. Right in here, guys. Oh, hitting my phone with the spokes. That's bad. But from here, you look there and you zoom in and you can see the disc is running straight between the calipers. That's good, with no rubbing whatsoever. Now, we have achieved absolute minimum rolling resistance. This will be the end of my little series on rolling resistance. Part of it was the lubrication. Believe it or not, that didn't come in the cleaning category. That came in the rolling resistance category. Now we have lower rolling resistance tires, properly lubricated so they run nice and free, even with a little touch like skateboard wheels. Everything is set for minimum rolling resistance. These have been changed. They are much, much lighter. As you can see, much, much lighter. And you hear no rubbing. Listen close. And that is the important things, guys. So, as long as you don't hear any rubbing, you're all right. Now, there's two ways to sight them. You can sight them from over top, but I've always found that very difficult. It's actually easier to sight here. The problem is, on the rear, you cannot do that because you need the bike upside down, and you want this because then you can have these spinning, but on the back, that means you have to sight from here, guys. And I highly recommend taking your phone just like I did for you guys. Zoom in until you can see it clearly, just like that. And then look very closely and you'll see that it's spinning right in that little gap. Even if it's got a little tiny warp, as long as that warp fits in the gap and doesn't rub on either side, you're good to go. That being said, we've covered a bunch of stuff. You now know how to pick your tires, pick your discs, and how to set them up so that they're absolutely perfect, guys. Now this is a really sweet bike with even less rolling resistance than I had on it this morning. Keith out.